Hey, what's up guys, Just Boost here and welcome back to another Digimon gameplay video. Today I bring you the finals from locals between two pretty interesting decks. We have Chris on the left piloting Blue Flare against Matthijs on the right, who is on Mastemon. Not having the best start, as you can see. But yeah, Blue Flare, really interesting deck going into the format, I think. Mostly because the matchups it has against most decks which go wide are really good. Like, it has super good matchups against a lot of those decks. However, it doesn't do so well against single stack decks, like for example Black War Greymon or War Greymon, Medogarurumon, which are definitely top meta contenders. And what makes it the most awkward, I think, is that the deck that does go wide, where the matchup also isn't really good, is actually Bloomlord, mostly because of Hydramon, which cuts off the floating from, what's it called, the Blue Flare Metal Greymon. We see Mastemon hitting into Ray of Victory here, then getting bounced to hand, which actually turned out quite nice. However, it doesn't really look like Matthijs has a lot going here, which might be an understatement even. He doesn't really have much of anything going. We see Metal Greymon come down here already, which is pretty early. It's going to stun the Mastemon here, and now it will be able to swing once, because there's no 2 Digimon on the field. Actually does survive the checks. It hits to the Angel Woman, which is 6000 DP, I think. And the Metal Greymon is 7000 or 8000, I'm not sure. It's another Metal Greymon to the hand with the Blazing Memory boost. And now it will be able to add another Blue Flare card and opts to go for Guile's Bomb there. So now you will potentially have 5 memory to work with each turn. It also looks like Matthijs finally picked up a rookie in the form of a Gazimon. And we'll see if he will be able to get back into the game. Usually when Mastemon does finally get back into the game, and can definitely make a pretty decent comeback. Going to play TK, missing out on 2 memory though, because he puts Chris to 1. So, and Chris has the memory tamer Kira, of course. Picks up the Gatomon. But I kind of feel like it could be too late. Madoki going to swing in, hit it with Flame Hell Scythe. Matthijs doing a think here what he wants to hit with Flame Hell Scythe. Like, he can hit a Metal Greymon, but it won't be deleted. I definitely think it's correct to hit the Madoki Betamon here. So he's going to swing with the Metal Greymon here, even though he can't do damage, which is definitely the correct play, because it means he will be able to trigger the Inheritable from the Male Birdramon, which means he can stun the Angel Woman. It's actually going to go okay, so it wasn't even necessary, to be honest. Because he's going to go into another Metal Greymon, which can stun both the Digimon anyway. And he will be able to swing twice now. Hits to only one Sword of Feet, okay. So you might see a comeback after all. And yeah, then he stuns the Omnimon Sword of Feet on the second swing with the Metal Greymon. So I think Matthijs isn't able to attack with any of his Digimon. Except for the Gazimon, that is. And he also has to deal with the Madoki Betamon. He's going to go into Gatomon here. But because he can't pop the boost to gain the 2 memory, he won't be able to go into something like Lady Deathmon and keep turn and go into Mastemon. However, if he does have the Lady Deathmon, he can still make use of the end of turn effect of Gatomon to go into Mastemon anyway. Which we do see happen here. I'm not sure if he has access to Lucemon, but if he does, he can potentially get rid of the Kira, which is definitely nice. But I think he actually kind of needs to get rid of both of the Metal Greymon, to be honest. Because, yeah, if he doesn't, he's just going to lose to both the attacks on the next turn. That's a shame, for sure. But he definitely had to do it like this, right? However, now if Chris does have access to another Metal Greymon, it's going to be game regardless. Or maybe even something like Kumamon is the hybrid he's playing, I'm pretty sure. That could also be game. Madoki going to swing in, hit into Magna Angemon. Do we see another Metal Greymon? I don't think so. Like, if he had, he probably would have done it, right? Going to go for Surai here, which is definitely a super strong addition to the Blue Flare deck from EX3. Because if he didn't have the Surai here, then he might have lost on the next turn, to be honest. But he does, and now he's going to be able to play the Male Birdramon, and since Kira has in play, that means he will be able to add back the Metal Greymon from the trash. So setting him up for going for game next turn for sure. And Matthijs can't even really... it wouldn't have mattered. I was going to say he can't even swing into security of his Digimon to make them leave the field. But he literally has no security left, right? So it wouldn't really matter. Since Chris has essentially 3 attacks lined up already without even needing the double attack from the Metal Greymon. Memory boost going to add either Gatomon or Lady Devimon here, but I don't really see how either of those cards is going to get him out of this situation. Might have been worth it to just hard play the Psychemon, and then, but then he also needs something like Flame Hellscythe into Magna Angelmon to make it worth it. Which he does have. So if I think that could have worked. Like play out the Psychemon, then go Flame Hellscythe, and then he won't be able to attack with his Metal Greymon on the next turn. Maybe that could have been the play, but of course we don't have perfect information about the cards in his hand and like what he drew of the evolve from the Psychemon and stuff like that. So I don't know. That maybe could have been the play, but I'm not sure. Anyway, Blue Flare does take game 1 pretty convincingly here. He has a pretty decent start, evolving Gaussmon and then hard playing the Blue Flare Greymon, which will be able to add 2 Blue Flare cards to his hand. So quite a few options here, except for the Greymon. He's actually going to add another Greymon and Gaussmon. Matthijs actually does start off with a Riku, which is definitely nice. Evolving to Gazimon over Demimeramon here. And now if he has Gatomon, he can Memory Choke to 1. Yeah, so that's very nice as well. Going to be picking up the Magna for sure, and then also another Gazimon. So opting not to go for the Icemon, which I think signals he has a pretty good hand. Probably. Gazmon going to swing in and bring out Milbergermon, which will be able to play Kiriha. And that's exactly what he does. Which is nice because now both the Digimon he has on field can use material save, right? And the Greymon is going to get deleted in against security and to save to go under the Kira. And now actually Metal Greymon is going to come out, which I'm not sure how much I like this play. Unless he has multiple Metal Greymon in hand, because I don't think there's a real point in stunning the Gatomon, right? Unless I'm missing something, but I'm not sure. Gazimon going to swing in, get a lead to Metal Greymon, trigger Demimeramon to draw 1 card and discard 1 card. And now if we see something like Lady Devimon into... Oh, we already knew he had Magna. But he doesn't have the Lady Devimon, so he's actually going to Chaos the Great here. Which is nice because it does shut off the material save from the Metal Greymon, right? Which I was talking about earlier at the start of the video. Like Hydramon does that as well, but does it significantly cheaper than this Chaos Degradation here. Really not looking like there's a lot going on the Mastemon side of things, sadly. Being able to play Blaze Memory Boost and keep turns also very nice, because yeah, the Chaos Degradation put him to 7, I think, or 6. Yeah, he's going to be able to add 2 cards, going to be adding Milbergermon and the Greymon. And playing the Kira as well, which is nice, because now he does have his pieces again to play the Metal Greymon if he wants to. He does pop the boost. Oh, no, he doesn't pop the boost, he just puts it in a different location. Then he plays Sora and Joe, putting Mastemon to 1 or to 3. But honestly, 1 or 3 in this specific game state doesn't really matter. Because again, he just needs 1 memory to go for Lady Devimon into a yellow. Or not into yellow, but you know, play a yellow level 5 and then DNA Digivolve. But he's actually going to go for Ophanimon Falldown mode here, which doesn't get the effect to delete a level 4 or lower, but it does get a recovery. And also it makes sure he has 1 Digimon on field, which is nice. However, he does get hit by the Sora and Joe here. So that strips the sources, which is definitely rough. And now Gaussmon is going to get deleted, triggering the Graveyard effect to actually add Metal Greymon to his hand, because Kira is in play. Going to go Ray of Vict. Okay, that's pretty strong. He definitely has a lot of field presence now, and I think Matthijs really needs something like Gatomon to get back into the game, which doesn't really look like he has. He did do another Metal Greymon, so we already know there's 2 in trash and 1 in hand right now. And Metal Greymon is definitely the win condition for Blue Flare, so if you manage to grind through all of them, honestly you can't really do that, right, because of the effect from the Greymon, which adds it back from the trash, I guess. So it's really rough. I honestly feel like Mastemon should have a super bad matchup against this, because the DNA evolving mechanic naturally plays around what Blue Flare is trying to do. However, you do need to keep turn when you go into the DNA Digivolve to make the most out of it in this matchup, which is definitely really hard for Mastemon. Metagramon going to come down here, stun literally nothing. Actually going to go into the Decker here, alright. Armor Purge. And he will be able to stun a Digimon on attack next turn. Maybe. It depends on what Matthijs does, of course. I think he mostly played it for the Armor Purge ability to keep it on the field, right? Again, not sure what's in his hands. It could have been better to just play a rookie, but we don't really know if he has one, right? Because I always feel like it feels like kind of a waste to play a Metal Greymon into an empty board, I think. But I've literally never played the deck, so I might definitely be wrong on that. Just feels like that. The Digimon giving the -2 security check to the Decker, however, the Jellymon here, which is a new tech I think Chris is trying, can still do a security check, and we're going to see, okay, that's interesting. Playing down the Kokaido's Breath, which means that now, I guess Matthijs can just do exactly the same, right? Yeah, this. It's definitely rough that means that Matthijs will be, Chris will be starting at 5 every time he does this because of the Soranjo. And I don't think there's a way to make game. He's going to swing and then literally nothing happens. I guess he could have game if there was... Yeah, I was going to say it could be game if he has another Metal Greymon and a hybrid. But he just doesn't seem to have that. Psychomon's going to come out now, which could be relevant. However, there is already literally game on board, even without the Metal Greymon coming down. Valuing the... so this is super unlucky. Valuing the Demi-Mirror card draw here over the Psychomon sticking to the field. I'm also 100% sure Matthijs literally never played this matchup, so... Going to swing with the Ancient. Yeah, I guess this game is just over, right? I don't really see what could possibly happen to get back to the game. Maybe evolve to Gazumon, then Lady Devimon, and then end of turn Lady Mastemon Shenanigans, I guess. I don't know. So Chris going to start at 8. Swing with Madoki. Hit to Memory Boost, which is ironic. Swing with the Decker, restand. Stun something, and yeah, that's it. That's the game. Pretty convincing win from Blue Flare there. GG.